This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Friday, October 17th of 2025, and we are so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I'll be talking with Iowa Congressman Randy Feenstra. Had our phone call recently to discuss the government shutdown as well as some farm bill discussion and talk about what it is that farmers need right now from the federal government. We'll also have the closing markets with Cory Bratland of agmarket.net. But first, here is my conversation with Iowa Congressman Randy Feenstra. Riley Smith, Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm on the phone right now with Iowa Congressman Randy Feenstra as we have a chat about what's going on here recently. And Congressman Feenstra, we know it's been an interesting time up at that level. The government shutdown top of mind for a lot of Iowa farmers. Could you talk about how it's impacting those farmers and what they need to see?
Yeah, Riley. Hey, great to be on with you today. Yeah, this shutdown really affecting our farming community. I mean, first of all, obviously, everybody knows the FSA offices are closed, so you can't do any acreage reporting. But I'm hearing a lot from the farmers that, farm loans are all on hold, conservation dollars. So there's a lot of farmers that, got that crop out of the ground. They want to do some tiling or whatever it means, and conservation dollars are all held up. And then also that market data. We're just not getting any new market data because that's not coming out. So, all 3-4 of these things is really hurting the ag sector. And then as we look forward, that farm bill, now that's gotten delayed also. We were planning to do that in October, and now, it's uncertain of when that's going to happen. So there's a lot of concerns out there, and it's just unfortunate partisan antics by the Democrats. And, what we wanted was just continued on with the budget, and they wanted to add $1.5 trillion to our already $37 trillion deficit. So it's a big concern.
And, you touched on there the farm bill as well, and that's something that we've been trying to get across the finish line for quite some time. What are some things that you've heard from constituents of like, hey, we want to see this in the farm bill, we need this to get taken care of?
Yeah. So a lot of it is the conservation dollars. What we want to do with CRP. Farmers want to know some certainty because a lot of those guys are renewing that right now, and they want to know what's going to happen. And then also ag research dollars. I've talked to the extension and ISU and things like that, and there's a lot that's all being held up. So that's a big concern. Then, obviously, when you start looking at precision ag, there's dollars in precision ag, there's dollars in the farm bill for expanding new export markets. We did a lot with MAP and FMD in the reconciliation bill. But we wanted to do, it's called the Fridge Act, to create dollars so we could get some of our cold storage products, whether it be, cheese, milk, our livestock products, to other countries like Africa, and that's all being held up also when that farm bill is being held up. So really, really big concern right now, especially when commodity prices are so low. I mean, right now cash corn at $3.90, that doesn't work. And so we got to figure out how to open new markets.
You mentioned a lot of that farm economy weighing in on farmers, and it's so unpredictable right now, flying blind in the marketplace and figuring out everything else with the pressure on the economy. We've heard recently about some investments that could be made in the farm economy from the Trump tax cuts. Could you explain to us how exactly that's planned to work and what benefits farmers could see from that?
Yeah, exactly. So, Trump and the administration, he truly cares about our farmers and trying to do everything. And, he talked about subsidies and working through the USDA right now, what that looks like. We're all advocating saying, hey, we just want more new markets. We want more export markets. We want an added value, whether that be E15 year round. There's a lot of things that we can do for added value instead of creating some subsidies. So that's sort of the talk right now is saying, what can we do? We just about had a deal done with India, China. Obviously we're going back and forth. They haven't bought soybeans for the last 8 weeks from us, which is a concern. But, we did things with Japan and Taiwan and the Philippines and the UK, which were really big deals, but we got to continue to open new markets. And, that in itself will give some relief to those commodity prices.
That again was Iowa Congressman Randy Feenstra. We'll take a look at the closing markets next, but first, a word from the Iowa Soybean Association. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm talking now with Cory Bratland of agmarket.net for the closing market summary. First off, Cory, today, what do we see going on in the grains?
Hey, Riley, good to see you again. Grain market's a little higher here on the day. We had corn up 1 to 2, kind of spent most of the day, 2 to 3 cents higher. We saw a little buying, we saw a lot of support early this week around that 410 level on the December contract. Not a lot of new news, obviously, with the government shut down. We're just kind of struggling to find some news. There is some rumors that a fair amount of export business on corn is getting done. So that's kind of helped put corn futures up into some resistance up around 425. These November soybeans had a nice 8-9 cent rally here today. I think that's stemming from the crush number out yesterday was very strong, come in about 11 million bushels more bushels that we crushed in the month of September than what the trade is expecting. So a very positive number there. And soybean harvest is finally wrapping up. But again, there we saw a November contract kind of come up into some resistance around this 10-20 area. We seem to be maybe stalling out here to end the week.
And I know in general, when we're looking at the markets at this time of year, we'd be looking at, say, harvest reports to mess with a lot of those prices. But with the government shutdown, we're not necessarily able to look at that right now. But when it comes to things that we've just heard about harvest, is there any pressure that's expected to be added to those prices eventually?
Yeah, soybean harvest, we're kind of expecting or thinking it's more of that 75-80% done. So we're definitely on the downhill slide. So I think, the soybean hedge pressure is pretty much behind us. Corn, I think, we're going to be getting past the 50% hurdle. Overall, corn harvest has been pretty good. I look at the forecast. It does look pretty wide open. The 6 to 10, 8 to 14 day forecast does call for above normal temps and normal to below normal precip. So, boy, and give us another 2 weeks here, Riley, we won't have a lot of corn harvest left. So we could see a little selling pressure, hedge pressure here as farmers get to that last little bit of corn yields, especially in states where, the yields are pretty darn good.
Then over on the livestock side of things, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
Yeah, cattle come under a lot of pressure. We had a tweet out last night or yesterday late afternoon regarding President Trump said that they've got some measures in place to kind of control or limit the upside on cattle. Boy, they took that pretty sensitive. We had feeder cattle down the limit, down $9.25 a hundred here today. Live cattle down, anywhere from about $6 to $7, a little over $7. So a little negative there. Hog market seems to be starting to stabilize though. But again, these hogs, they're about $9-10 a hundred off their highs here just a few weeks ago. So we're starting to finally stabilize here. Livestock side, I think, the cattle side of things are going to be under a little bit of pressure here, I'm guessing, here at the start of next week.
All right, Cory, lots of great information today. For anyone who would like to get in touch with agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Yeah, just head on over to our website, which is agmarket.net, and you can get a hold of us there through email or our toll-free number.
Thanks again for the analysis. As always, Cory, we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Riley.
That again was Cory Bratland of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers close through the market window at iowaagnet.com. At the close, December corn up 3/4 cent at 422.5. November soybeans up 8 3/4 at 1019.5. December soybean meal up 410 at 281 even. Soybean oil up 26 cents at 51.13. Chicago wheat up 1 1/4 at 503 3/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 2 3/4 at 491.5. Minneapolis spring wheat down 1 even at 548.5. December oats up 3.5 at 295 even. On the Merc, December live cattle down 605 at 241.82. November feeders down 925 at 371.70. December lean hogs down 22 cents at 82.37. December pork cutout went unchanged at 92 even. And November class 3 milk up 6 cents at 16.62. That's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM, and that also brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM PM on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well to check out our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as the Iowa Ag Matters podcast and Pods of Potential. You can find those on your favorite podcasting services at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Dustin Huffman, Andy Peterson, and Mark Magnuson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.